Hello and welcome to our webinar today, Plumbing Technicians, How to Improve Their Workload. This is part of our webinar series where we talk about the day in the life of and the daily activities of field technicians and how they're impacted by doing their regular job and how difficult and stressful sometimes that can become. And today we're going to specifically talk about the plumbing field. So thank you and welcome to the webinar today. So before we get started, I wanted to go over a few housekeeping items. First off, this event is being recorded. So if you do not have time to listen to the whole thing, if you need to jump off for whatever reason, we'll send a link to the recording. And also if you've got teammates or friends in the industry who may be interested in this content, once we share that link with you, you can go ahead and share that with your colleagues. If you have any questions, please submit them in the question feature down at the bottom of the webinar screen, and at the end of this webinar we'll do our best to answer all of those questions. Also, there's a chat feature. If you have any difficulties joining, hearing, seeing the slides, or whatever it may be, just type into the chat and we'll try and get that answered as we're going. So today we have as a speaker Christian Chandler. He has been with Axsoft for about a year, I believe, but he's been in the software sales industry for 20 plus years. So he's comes with a lot of experience. He's been on a couple of our events in the past and always gives great information and insight into the topic at hand. He's based in Phoenix. He has an MBA, and he's actually a published columnist, which is kind of interesting. So Christian, thank you for joining us today, and we're excited to hear what you have to say.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate the time and love sharing day-to-day experiences that I talk with everybody about probably weekly, if not more. As you said, quite some time and have a lot of experience helping people get automated, I guess is the best way, and improve efficiency in their day-to-day. So kind of want to start out, actually, I've been on numerous phone calls with plumbing companies and field technicians, and as a matter of fact, recently I just had to have my water heater replaced, so spent a good amount of time with a technician at my house. So it's kind of fun having these chats and finding out how everybody does their work on a day-to-day basis. But we kind of collected that information and put it into this slideshow, and to talk about ways that we can improve efficiency in the market. So from a field technician standpoint, this is pretty much a daily series of tasks that they have to go through, and everything from clocking in and out to getting their information into their hands, their jobs for the day, working with their customers, going from one point A to point B and making that an efficient route, to even collecting payments from their customer out the day. And then always have those unforeseen emergencies or things that happen throughout the day, whether it's a flat tire on the way to a job or just traffic, right? So there's a lot they're dealing with in the field there, and then being managed back at the home office as well. Through our conversations with people, with plumbers in the industry, these are a series of common problems that they deal with. One of the biggest ones I think that we deal with is getting a plumber to a job site in an efficient manner. That's probably one of the biggest things, because just having that insight into the field and understanding where everybody is, how far they are away from point A to point B, and having that outside of a text message or a phone call, just understanding where people are in their day-to-day, allowing you to get as much work under your belt as possible, because jobs equal pay equals bottom line, and getting you pays for the bills, right? And so just really at the end of the day, our biggest conversations with our plumbing customers has been, how do I get more jobs throughout the day and without wasting a lot of time? And that's our goal. That's really where we come into play. That's our job. Our job is to help you get information out of the field back to the office and into your customers' hands efficiently. And the better you can do that, the more jobs you can do, the happier your customers are, and the more money your technicians make. Kind of a quick insight into a day-to-day from a technician standpoint. If your techs are coming by the office in the morning to either get their job paperwork or clock in, that's taking time out of their day that they could probably be on a job site, especially if they're driving right past their first job because they've got to go in and get the information from the dispatch office. And while they're there, they may decide to catch up with a couple of the coworkers, and and granted, definitely want that team player attitude, but again, it's time that they could be in the field doing their job and getting through their day. And then they're looking at their work orders and probably mapping out their day a little bit there. Some of that might be them pulling up Google Maps and figuring out where they need to go. Some of it might just be luck of the draw, throw a dart, or it could be based on emergencies, like who's the priority on the dispatch for the day. However, that might not be the most efficient route, considering they may be driving across town to do one job and then driving right back across town to do a second job with a lot of windshield time there, just not work time, not billable hours, right? And just definitely causing a little frustration for the technician because they're driving all over the place, and then also these are other jobs they could be doing during that time. Another thing is arranging payments. I think that this is huge. In this environment when it comes to field representatives, is that they're having to figure out either whether it's grab a check because they don't have a way to take mobile payments, or getting a PO and having that sent back to the office, or calling in a credit card number, which I think is probably one of the hardest things to kind of deal with customers, because you're handing out your credit card information. Maybe that's something you don't want to do. So just really, putting that burden on the technician when, something as simple as just a credit card swipe would definitely make things a lot easier in the field and a lot more secure on that end as well. And then, so then they go on to their next job. And again, as I said, they could be driving across town again, or something has come up and they've got an emergency job, as you see that 2:56 p.m. There's a couple of things that come in, and that could really cause them to have, be late to a job or skip over a job and have to come back to it. And you have customers waiting all day. We've all, I know the cable company gets a bad rap, or your internet company, but it's like, you got that 6-hour window and they come right at the end of it, or they come at the beginning and you happen to be 5 minutes late home and you don't get it. So there's a lot of stuff in there that can go crazy just because of the fact that there's just no organization as far as how their jobs are mapped out for the day. And then during the day, speaking of which, you may have an issue and you may need to reach out to your tech, and they have they're in the middle of a job, or they're doing something and they just have to stop what they're doing, and then I'll come find out it's actually not a message for them, it's for another technician, but you kind of broadcast it out. So there's a bunch of different things that could happen, just from a communication standpoint, that would definitely, again, interfere with your technician's day and reduce efficiency. And then then on top of that, you've got assets, you've got expensive trucks in the field, you may have expensive equipment. I know I recently had a remodel project here, and there were materials left here and they don't know where it is. And next thing I know, I'm getting a call, hey, I got to come back and pick up, this expensive piece of machinery that I left there accidentally, and that's great if they remember it, but if they don't, but also from an asset, when it becomes a vehicle, that's a trackable item, right? So this will give you insight into where your techs are in the field. Also, your name brand may be on that truck, and you want to make sure that truck's being driven safely and and is where it's supposed to be. And you don't want to find out later that, something, maybe somebody's driving a little erratically and you're getting phone calls from people on the road saying, hey, I passed your truck the other day, and that's just not good for your reputation. So there's a lot of things that can happen, just specifically with your assets on the road and your branding there. how we approach these solutions are with our TeamWherx product is that we basically put everything in a very easy to use application on your device. If you have anybody in this day and age, everybody knows how to use a smartphone. When I first got into this industry, that wasn't the case, but definitely that is how it is now. So if they can navigate a website or navigate social media, they can navigate our application. And first and foremost, your people want to get paid. And so allowing them to clock in and out in the field and not have to come into the office to clock in and out or sign a timesheet or punch a card is huge for them. It also gives you complete documented information on what their day looks like. Are they taking the required breaks? We also can grab their GPS location when they do clock in and out, so you can ensure they're actually on a job site when they clock in and out, as opposed to being maybe down the street getting coffee or something like that, and you're paying for their coffee time. So definitely, having that insight on when where they're gonna, or where they are and where they're supposed to be is huge. And you have this in a completely searchable record down the road, and it helps you have accurate payroll as well. So you're not paying for time that they're not working, and that's huge. I think most of my customers, from a time clock standpoint, save several hours a week just having that insight into what their people are doing during the day. It also helps improve efficiency, because when they are on the clock, you're getting that, they're definitely working during that time. You can check that. You can come to a job site and double check to make sure that they are working and they're not on a break when they're not clocked out for a break. So, definitely want to trust your employees, but you definitely also need to verify they're doing what they said they're going to do. And it's good for your business as well too, because your customers are busy during the day, and you want your employees being efficient with their time as well. Job dispatching is probably one of my favorite features. I love the fact that you can not only instantly find out where your techs are throughout the day, and determine who you want to send a job to simply by their location and where they are, but you also can plan their days in advance. So they know when they come in the morning, or when they actually don't come in the morning, when they look at their application in the morning, what their day looks like. They can even check the night before. It also gives you the ability to look at your job, I'm gonna think of your job amount for each technician, and make sure that you're filling their day out and you're not maybe shorting the day. And in my area, in Phoenix, Arizona, most of the people get paid per job. So that's huge, because you want to keep them happy as well too. And if you're offloading jobs in, and you realize, hey, I've got one technician with 3 jobs, one with 10, there's something going on there. So this gives you that full snapshot into how their day looks. It also lets them know if a day is going to be light. Maybe they work for a couple different companies or have a couple different things, how their day is going to look. So you have the ability to really give them, give your technicians and your company insight into what their day is going to look like. And as you go out throughout the day and you get emergency orders or other jobs, you can easily fill up scheduling for these technicians and have them do more jobs and keep them happy. You get to have more revenue coming in because you're doing more jobs throughout the day. And you always have insight into where they are throughout the day, as far as their job workload. And they can let you know immediately if something goes on. Let's say they're going out to a job site and they have a job ready to go, and like I said, they blow a tire or something, they're not going to be on time. That's huge to be able to send back to the office, maybe kick the work order back, and they can grab the next tech in the field to go meet that customer's needs, rather than panicking and having to figure out, what are we going to do? We have insight, in a complete visual insight into what's going on. Another thing that's really cool about dispatching is the ability to send a message to your customer when they're en route. So you have that ability too. The customer gets a text message saying, hey, your technician will be there in 15 minutes, or however you want to set that message up. And your customer now knows, okay, I'm not having to wait all day. They're right here, they're on their way. Kind of our backbone and our core here is our wireless forms. The reason this is such an important part of your everyday is the fact that paperwork costs money. And the longer it takes you to get the paperwork to your office, the longer it is before you can actually get paid. So if we're able to grab that information in the field, this is huge. Going back to our dispatch, we can also submit invoices out to the field with pre-configured information, addresses, maps, things like that, that allow, that ensure, I guess I should say, that your technicians have the correct addresses, have the correct name of the customer, have an idea of what the job consists of, and this is all digitally tracked, and you have a record of it. Then once they get to the site, they're collecting the information that's required to, to fill out the invoice. They can't skip over stuff. They can't insert stuff that's not accurate, and that's huge too. Accuracy on forms. They're ensuring signatures are done because, again, they can't submit the form without a signature. They're able to add pictures, send that information back, prove, kind of show what they worked on. They can go ahead and bill out parts if they need to use, inventory. You get all this information instantly once they submit the form. So you're ensuring that you have accurate, timely invoices, not only for the customer, or not only for your back office, but also your customer. And this is my bread and butter. This is where I got into this industry. It's huge, and any customer I've put on paperless forms or wireless forms, I've seen a huge increase in productivity, and I'm talking hours throughout the week saved of not having to dry paperwork, not having to look for missing paperwork because throughout the day, it blew out the back of the truck. And, you have the ability to just improve efficiency across the board. We see this more and more in the field, but I'm still amazed at the amount of companies that I talk to that are still on old triplicated carbon copy paperwork. And because that's expensive too. Those are several, they can be expensive, especially if something happens down the road and you need to change the form. You have to toss everything out that you had committed. These you can change on the fly. You can collect data as you need it, and you're just going to get more data from the field, and you're going to build out these huge databases of customers, get an idea of where things are. Allows you to target from a marketing standpoint, maybe areas where you're starting to see a big increase into people, wanting to use your company. So just a ton of information comes specifically from wireless forms. I touched on this earlier, but mobile payments are definitely a new benefit to us, something we just recently added to our forms. And as you can probably see throughout the world now, we're starting to see more and more people go to digital in the field credit cards. But the nice thing about ours is powered by Stripe. It's secure, seamless. You don't need anything special to do it or a special device. You can use, your Android or your iPhone or even your tablet out there and just collect this data in the field. And it's quick and easy. And you're doing it right in front of the customer. You're not broadcasting their credit card number throughout over the phone. You're not having to write things down and take that back to the office and swipe it and open yourself up to the fact that they may or may not, have insufficient funds or things like that. And then you're chasing down, payment. So really, from both your customer standpoint, your technician standpoint, your back office standpoint, this is a huge benefit to get paid quickly, and efficiently and on site. So again, another feature I'm starting to see a lot of companies jump into. But I honestly think that from our standpoint, because you do not need some special swipe, device or anything, that's going to capture the card data and then have to go back to the office. I think, this is nice, secure, and quick and easy and very efficient for your technicians in the field. And then one of the things I kind of mentioned again earlier was being able to communicate to your team. Yes, everybody who has a phone or device has the ability to send a text message, and there's numerous applications you can get. The nice thing about TeamWherx is that you have the ability to do that inside our application. So you keep all of your business communication with the team within an application that's work-based, right? And the other nice thing about it too is you can build different groups and admin those from your portal and be able to have, you have a technician group, maybe you have an IT group, maybe you have, if you're doing plumbing and HVAC, you have a plumbing group, HVAC group. You have the ability to only communicate with the people that need to see that message. And you can also do one-on-one. But the nice thing about it is you have a record of everything in your portal here. So, not having to rely on taking screenshots out of your phone or whatever. If hey, I told you this, no, you didn't. No, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You literally have a complete record of everything that went down. And the nice thing about your employees is they're only being bothered when they're on the clock, because you're not hitting their text messages that they use for communicating with family or whatnot. You have the ability to have all that information. And as I said, you also have the ability to customize that, and you can, send out text messages to your customers on your way to a site. So there's, and that, I think that's huge, having that. I love when I'm going to have somebody visit, come and do some work for me, and they let me know they're on their way to my house. So that way I can go ahead and get, make sure I'm not ignoring the door. Maybe I have dogs and they like to bark, so I'll maybe send them out back so they don't bark at the guy. So really that's awesome as well too. So it just, again, from a customer experience, it's huge for me because it just lets me know, hey, you're on your way. GPS tracking. So with TeamWherx, this is, again, something that's kind of at our core here, is the ability to kind of get an insight into, what's going on throughout the day, whether it's, where your vehicles are. You can track smartphone tracking to find out where your people are. And just from a dispatch aspect too, you get insight into what's going on. If they're heading to a job, who you got in the field, you have all that information. You can monitor your assets. For some reason you've got a truck that goes missing one day, you actually have the ability to go find it because it's not where it says it's going to be. Unfortunately, sometimes things do walk off. So we want to make sure that we know where that is. We've also got insight into, how the safety of your technicians, how they're driving in the field. Are they leaving the truck on idle, the vehicle on idle? That's costing you money. Maybe you work in a cold area or a hot area, and you've got the air conditioner or the heater going while they're on a lunch. That's costing you money. So you really have that information to figure out, what's going on. We have a ton of insight into, your vehicle diagnostics and things like that. Just really, again, trying to save the bottom line there and ensure that you're running as efficient as possible. And then finally, yes, we definitely, I kind of touched this, but we definitely have the ability to keep tabs on everything, right? Whether that's equipment, people, whatnot, because of smartphones and because of GPS tracking, we have that ability to let you know where things are, and are they where they're supposed to be. And then from there, we can actually take that data and bring it into a ton of third-party systems. And what that does for you, anything from payroll to inventory, right? You have the ability to know where things are, where they are, what you have left, what do you need to order. So you have all that ability, and we systems like QuickBooks and a couple of the payroll processes out there, you definitely have the ability to bring that data in. It's your data. We want you to be able to move it. And then we have a couple of use cases here. In this case, this is one of our TeamWherx customers. And I know I'm watching time here, so I'm going to try to summarize here. But really, their biggest pain points that we address were basically knowing where their people are, so the GPS tracking let them monitor their plumbers throughout the day, so they knew who's in the field, what's and who can go to the next job. That's been huge, and that really coupled with job dispatching, allowing them to properly route the technician to the proper customer efficiently, and not, again, send them all over town. And then just to summarize what we've gone over here, TeamWherx, again, powered by Axoft, offers an all-in-one digital platform. We've gone over job dispatching. We've gone over wireless forms. We've got our mobile timekeeping, handset tracking, and then intercompany messaging, which is huge. So and this is all included in one portal. So you don't have to go in and buy a bunch of different pieces of software. These are our modules. They're all put together, and it's a handy dandy little app that you can literally download to your device, and it's super easy to use. And then on top of that, we have a concierge level assistance to help you get deployed. We help you build forms. We help with integration on APIs. So if you want to bring into like QuickBooks or something like that, we go ahead and do that all for you. We have a ton of resources, white glove customer service, and our job is to sit there and make it easy for you and basically kind of train the trainer and get you guys comfortable with our portal. And as we launch new features, we go out and we do webinars like this to really teach people so you can ask questions and just ensure you're getting the most out of your money with us. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and close out here and kind of turn it back over to Ken for questions.
Great, thank you, Christian, for your information. So we've had a couple of questions come in, and if there are still questions someone in the audience has, go ahead and enter those. We'll try and get through them. I'm just going to quickly look down the list here. So, Christian, is there a way to attach pictures to the forms that you send to customers to prove that the job is complete?
Definitely, yes, that's huge. I thought I covered that actually, but I guess maybe I missed that part. So yeah, that's huge.
The question may have come in before you.
No, it's okay. Totally great. No, I love that question, but yes, definitely. My parents actually own a pool company. This is one of the things they use for their technicians because I don't know if you've ever had to clean a pool, but sometimes it takes 5 minutes, sometimes it takes hours. It just depends on what it looks like. So a lot of times I'll see people ask, hey, did somebody actually come clean my pool? And the question is, was your pool clean? No, really, they go in and they show pictures of what they did. Maybe they cleaned the basket out, whatnot. Maybe it is a clean pool. But the idea is they take a picture every time they go into a site to prove that they were there.
Okay, great. And this one says, can I have our technicians automatically clocked in or out when they arrive and or leave a job site?
There is a way around, to do that. We do have geofencing, and that would allow you to know when they enter a site. If you build a geofence, and our geofences can be custom shaped. So it would definitely let you know that they were there when they left. And then you would get a report from that. It's a little different than clock in and out, I guess I should say. But it definitely would let you know when they're on site and when they're off site, and then we could build a custom report that would allow you to roll it into some sort of payroll.
Okay, yeah, and I imagine that would be helpful for companies like you mentioned earlier that have technicians that work for multiple different plumbing companies and maybe doing jobs throughout a day for different companies, right?
Correct, exactly. Yes, you'd have an idea of what, which ones are your techs and which ones are doing jobs somewhere else.
Yep. Okay, and then, you may have already covered this one. Can I send copies of the wireless form to the customer? That's
definitely
separate from the picture question, but kind of along the same line.
No, it's great. Yeah, you can actually send the invoice to the customer. The cool thing about it too is you can have different information sent to the customer and different information sent to your back office. So maybe there's a total price at the bottom of it, but you don't want it itemized. You want it itemized specifically for your back office. Could be other things too in there that you need internally that you don't need the customer to see. You have the ability to customize those forms so the customer only sees what you want them to see, and then you have that more, that information in the back. Maybe it's just simply the GPS location. You don't need the customer to see that. You want it. So you have the ability to send those whatever records you want to the customer, whatever records you want back to the office.
Yeah, it looks like that's the end of our questions. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up and keep us under half an hour, which we have our goal. So thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Christian, for your information. Especially thank you to any of our Axoft customers who have attended today's webinar. If anyone needs to get in touch with Christian or myself or anyone else at Axoft, here on the screen, you'll see the phone number as well as the landing page you can fill out the form on that page. That'll get your information over to us and we can get back with you quickly. So again, thank you for attending, and we will see you all next time. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Thank you all.